Long before we had digital images and fancy OCR, the world's banks were, and I'm not exaggerating here, drowning in a sea of paper. They had this massive data problem, and they solved it not with light, but with magnetism. And the craziest part? They used the technology that's still hiding in plain sight today.
Go ahead and grab a checkbook if you have one, or just picture a check in your mind. You know those weird kind of blocky numbers at the bottom? I bet you've seen them 1,000 times, never really thought about them. What are they? And why do they have that unique, almost futuristic font? Well, that font is the key to a whole magnetic revolution.
So to really get why this font was such a big deal, we have to rewind the clock. Picture it, the mid-1950s. Banks were just getting buried under an absolute avalanche of paper checks. The volume was becoming completely unsustainable. Processing them all by hand was painfully slow, super expensive, and, as you can imagine, just filled with errors. They needed a breakthrough in automation, and they needed it yesterday. And that breakthrough? It was called MICR. That stands for Magnetic Ink Character Recognition. This was the technology that literally dragged the banking industry into the computer age. It's what made processing billions of documents automatically even possible.
So how did they land on magnetism as the answer? Of all things. Well, it was this perfect mix of academic brainpower meeting a massive real-world business problem.
Back in the 1950s, you had Stanford University and the Bank of America teaming up. They were facing this monster challenge of processing all these checks, and their collaboration is what gave us the MICR system. It was a true breakthrough that was born completely out of necessity.
The idea behind MICR is actually brilliantly simple when you break it down. It really just comes down to three things. First, you need a special ink that has iron oxide in it. Yep, basically a very fine, purified rust. Second, you need that unique font we talked about, which is called E13B. And third, this is where the magic happens. When you magnetize that ink, each one of those special characters gives off a totally distinct, readable magnetic signature.
And this is the genius part. This is why they chose magnetism over the early optical scanners, which were, frankly, pretty unreliable back then. A machine could read that magnetic signal even if the numbers were covered up by stamps, signatures, or, a coffee stain. The whole system was built to be incredibly tough to survive the messy reality of paper documents.
Okay, so the machines can read this magnetic font. Super cool. But what information are they actually pulling from that line of numbers? Well, you can think of it as the check's digital fingerprint.
That microline holds three crucial pieces of data. First up, the routing number. That tells the system which bank it is. Then you have the account number, which of course points to the specific customer. And finally, the check number, which tracks that one individual document. It's a simple, elegant, and just incredibly effective data structure.
Now, of course, this clever ink was only half the story. To make it work, you needed some incredible new hardware. You needed high-speed machines that could finally tame that paper blizzard.
MICR was basically the fuel for legendary machines like the IBM 1419 and its even faster successor, the 3890. And these things weren't just readers, they were reader sorters. They became the absolute workhorses of the entire financial industry for decades.
And their speed? It was just mind-boggling for the time. We're talking about machines that could read and sort thousands of checks per minute. Think about that. A task that would take a whole team of people all day to do by hand, these machines could knock out in just a few minutes.
And the impact was, and I'm not exaggerating, revolutionary. Banking went from this slow, error-prone, completely unsustainable system to one that was incredibly fast, reliable, and scalable. MICR didn't just speed things up, it basically saved the entire system from collapsing under its own weight.
So right about now, you might be thinking, okay, cool history lesson, but we have smartphones and digital cameras now. Who cares about magnetic ink from the 50s? Well, believe it or not, the story is not over yet.
Yeah, a quote I came across puts it perfectly. MICR is a legacy format that refuses to die. It's one of those old technologies that, against all odds, is still with us, and its influence is still felt every single day. If you look at how check processing has evolved, it's pretty amazing. It started with people entering data by hand. Then came the magnetic reading we've been talking about, and now it's mostly digital imaging and OCR. But here's the kicker. Even the modern check scanners that take a picture of the check, many of them still have a magnetic read head built in. That magnetic line is still considered a fundamental source of truth.
So, at the end of the day, this isn't just some museum piece.
From the massive clearing systems that move money between banks, to fraud detection engines, all the way down to the mobile deposit app on your phone, the data structure that MIC pioneered is still at work. Its magnetic ink is still powering billions and billions of dollars in transactions across the global economy.
MICR was truly a magnetic revolution hiding in plain sight. And it just makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other foundational, almost invisible technologies are out there, quietly powering the world around you every single day?